Peace and blessings, family. And we are back for another episode of Heal with Angelica Waters podcast, where we discuss all things healing. And on today's episode, I have a guest joining me today, my brother, motivational speaker, Marchello Bradley, as we will be discussing today's topic acceptance, the pathway to peace. Marcello, I am so excited to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you?
I feel great. How do you feel?
I am blessed. I am grateful to have you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yes, sir. Me as well. Now, before we get started, would you mind letting our audience know more about you?
Ooh, about me. I am a 39-year-old black man. I have been a police officer for 14 and a half years. I only have 10 years, 6 months, and 2 days to go, but who's counting? I'm a husband, a father of three daughters, 19, 6, and will be 2 in August. I'm a podcaster. I have my own podcast, What's Up With You? And I enjoy life.
Yes. Okay, brother. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, let's get started on today's amazing topic. This is a must talk about acceptance, the pathway to peace. Now, I have a quote here, and it states, understanding is the first step to acceptance, and only with acceptance can there be recovery. That brings me to my first question for you, Marcello. Does understanding self and life open the pathway to acceptance?
Yeah, it does. I think that's the best way for us to be able to understand the world that is outside of us, which is to understand the world that is inside of you. So if you think about something like forgiveness, if someone does you wrong, it's easier for you to understand their position and forgive them if you can put yourself in their shoes, or think about a time you did something similar that was unbecoming of you. And because you're able to forgive yourself for your actions, it's easier to show empathy for that person, and then the world at large for some of the things that we don't really like to see to happen. You understand yourself, so it's easy to understand everybody else.
I like that. I like that. It's kind of, like you said, taking yourself out of the equation and putting yourself in other people's shoes so you can have a better understanding. I love that.
Right,
Thank you,
right, right,
brother.
right. You're
Yes.
welcome.
Yeah. So, why is acceptance the pathway to peace?
I think acceptance is the pathway to peace because we don't have that much control over life. We live in a really big, if not infinite, universe. There are a lot of things about our own being that we don't control.
Hmm.
Um, it'd be nice if I could make myself grow some more hair up top, but I can't do that. So I have to accept that, right? Um, but no, like your heart beats, your eyes blink, you have a nervous system, all these biological things going on, and we don't have any control over them, right? So if we don't have control over our own being, for the most part, the best thing we can do is accept the things that we can't change,
Mm.
and that will allow us to be at peace with what is. That doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to agree with what is or be happy about what is, but we can be okay. We can be at peace with it and allow life to continue doing what it's doing.
I love it. I love it. Now, what does peace mean to you?
Ooh, great question. Peace to me is, I haven't quite gotten it down to like the perfect saying yet,
Hmm.
but peace to me is the ability to be mentally, sometimes physically, emotionally, and spiritually stable, regardless of what's occurring.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I
So
like
I
that.
mean, you know, and that's not to say that we don't experience emotions,
Mm-hmm.
right? But let's use an emotion that most of us would rather not experience, say sadness or anger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Acceptance is accepting that you're angry and understanding that you're angry and being okay with the fact that you're angry. I think we're kind of taught to take those quote unquote negative emotions and bury them or put them away and I don't think that's the right way to handle emotions.
Mm-hmm.
They just become a part of our shadow, and then they jump out at the most inopportune times. And it's like, why did I say that? Because you didn't accept me, right? You didn't accept that part of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can embrace, if and when we can embrace those negative emotions within ourselves and be okay with them, then life gets a lot easier. Because all of them are gonna pass, good, bad, or indifferent. None of them are
Yeah.
gonna last forever.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I mean, I can definitely agree with you with that. Just being able to just sit with your emotions is, I think, is definitely a way to come in within yourself to have some form of peace, because you know that these are emotions that are just going to happen. Like, these aren't, this is some things we just cannot control in a way. So it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel hurt. It's okay to be upset. But it's a balance when you feel these emotions. And when you are able to maintain that balance within the emotions, that's where the peace come in at. That's what I'm taking from you, brother.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And another thing too is that I knew this, but I really understand it now, or a lot
Hmm.
better, is the importance or the power of the tongue in terms of being able to put a label on something. Because as soon as you put a label on something, at least within your mind, you have some form of control and dominion over whatever that thing is. So when you experience anger, something happens to you physically. Your heart rate goes up, you start to sweat a little bit, your hands, you might get jittery. And the minute you can say to yourself, "Hey, I'm angry," it's almost like your higher self or your higher consciousness, a higher level of your consciousness than your physical form, understanding, okay, let's put a label on this thing so that I can know how to traverse it. Should I take a walk? Should I scream? Should I yell? Should I scream into a pillow? Should I phone a friend? But once I know, hey, when I'm angry, this is something that helps me get through it, I can do that. But if I have a hard time putting a label on it, it makes it a little more difficult to deal with the heart rate going up and
Hmm.
all of the physical things that come with it. So that too.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Like putting a label on it so you can recognize when it's coming, because sometimes we get so lost in the feeling of the emotion, that we forget how to handle it. So
Mm.
putting a label on it, I have heard something about that. Like when you get this negative thoughts, you can call it Jane or Joe. Like, Jane, I'm going to take a walk today. Joe, no, not today, Joe. You're not about to. And it's not crazy, because it's funny because people would think you're crazy, but it's like something that really works because it's something that you have to do so you can make sure that you always maintaining your peace. So I love that label. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So now I really believe that this is something like acceptance is hard, and a lot of us have a hard time accepting things for what it is. What is one thing that you believe people have a hard time doing when it's coming to acceptance?
Um, if I understand your question correctly, I think heartbreak or wanting a romantic love interest to be, act, or do, live their lives in a way that we would approve of.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's very important for us to one of the most important things in a relationship, in my opinion, is peace and space, and they kind of go hand in hand. The more space you can give to someone to be who they are, right? So people will always show you who they are. I know that a lot of times you meet people, they have their mask on, but if you stick in there long enough, the mask will come off, right? And as soon as we can accept this person for who and what they are, in their best moments and their worst moments, it becomes easier to traverse um what's the word I'm looking for? Like negative interactions or
Hmm.
disagreement actions that you may have. So if you know your significant other screams and yells when they get angry and it's something you want to talk to them about and you're sensitive and you don't like when people scream and yell, then you should know that, when they come home after a long day of work and they're tired, it's probably not the right time to bring up
Yes.
whatever it is that's on your mind. So wait until, you're in that good space and they can be more receptive. So you accept they scream and yell. This is not the time to bring it up. I'll bring it up at a time when we're in a good space. But yeah, the relationship one is the one that I think hurts people the most.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that is true, and just being able to accept a person for who they are, not saying to how can I say it, like disregard your boundaries or disregard just certain things that you just won't put up with, but when a person is in high emotions, like you stated, like in a relationship, and it's just not the time to talk. Kind of have some respect there,
Mm.
and have understanding and accept that, hey, this is what he does when he gets upset. So I'm going to wait. And then it's the ego, because I know I'm a woman, and I'll be ready to talk right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk it out right now. So, but I'm coming to a point where it's like, you know what? It's not the right time to talk. And what I found out is that eventually, when you can't talk right then and there, you kind of forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't, like, you don't have all those pent up emotions like you just did at that moment. So,
Right.
oh, that's crazy.
Nothing's worse than coming home or getting that text like, "Hey, we need to talk." Like, what we need to talk about? I thought we was cool.
Okay. Like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Okay.
Right. I thought we was good. We was cool when I left the house this morning. We need to talk.
Exactly.
Hey.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, do you believe that acceptance plays a role in healing? And when I say healing, um, I'm saying in terms of life in general, healing from any type of pain, trauma, um, health issues. Like, do you believe acceptance plays a role in healing?
Acceptance is healing. That's how I see it, right? It's if you think about the human body, if you get a cut or a scratch and it hurts, the body immediately starts working on accepting, like, okay, something's not right here and we have to fix it, right? So the sooner you can accept it, the sooner you can accept reality, the hardcore objective reality, because I know there's a debate as to whether or not there's an objective reality. There is. The sooner we can accept that, the sooner we can be at peace, come up with real solutions, not necessarily solutions that we wish were solutions, right?
Hmm.
I think we're in a place in society now where, and I'm talking about at least on a country level, probably on a global scale, there's a group of people who want society to be the way they want it to be. However, and their solutions and their intentions are genuine. So I have respect for them, but they're not based in a reality that's that's real,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm a person who, while I'm like most people, I think it'd be cool to live in a world where we all got along and there was no violence. but that's not reality. So I
Mhm.
accept that violence is a innate that it's innate within man. So I'm going to be prepared to face violence with violence if need be. See what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I just think it's important that we accept reality for what it truly is and not what we want it to be. We end up fooling ourselves.
Okay. So with you saying that, it kind of got me thinking about like manifestation, or just be us being able to change our reality um in a way. Now, how can I say this? Like, how does acceptance not coincide with manifestation? Like, because you're saying, like, okay, we have to accept things for what it is. Are you saying that we still can't create our own reality, even though we got to accept things for what it is?
No, I'm saying that we can still create our reality, and I'm not completely sold on the idea that we're creating our reality as opposed to we are transitioning our state of being to another state of being or another
Mhm.
dimension that already exists, and
Mhm.
that's where we are traveling to. So when you begin to let's just use an example, right?
Mhm.
Say you want to be rich and wealthy, right? You're not going to change the outside world and make yourself rich. You're going to change your inner world, and you're going
Mm.
to become that version of you that is rich and wealthy. So it's not necessarily that you change the outside world, you changed yourself, which gave you access to, say, the network of people that you need in order to acquire what it is that you desire. Acquire what you desire. I should put that on a t-shirt.
I like that.
That
I like
was
that.
good.
It was.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for clearing that up, because uh, I understood what you meant about acceptance, but I know I'm big on manifestation, and that was perfect when it comes to just being able to change the inner world. And then when you change the inner world, the inside, you're able to see things in a different light. I would say a different perspective for the most part. So I love that. Thank you, brother.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes, yes. Now, what could one do, or what advice do you have for someone who wants to start their journey to acceptance?
Mm, beautiful question. I can tell you what works for me. Um, I will, if there's something about my life or my being that I want to change, I won't literally write because I use my iPhone now, but I'll take my notepad and I will literally write down the things that I want to change, or the things that I have to accept that I can't change, right?
Hmm.
So if I want to be more at peace in my relationship, in my notepad, I'll put, I want to be more at peace in my relationship, which leads to another question. Well, if I want to be at peace, why am I not at peace? I'm not at peace because it irks my nerves when she, I don't know, leaves the fan on when no one's around,
Hmm.
right? And but my premise is that you want to meet those things head on in some way, shape, or fashion. So that may be journaling about your
Hmm.
thoughts, emotions, and feelings, writing them in a notepad, talking to a friend, but you want to meet them head on, which is really what acceptance is, so that you know what it is that you're dealing with. Sometimes we wake up in the morning and we're just grumpy and we have no idea why. Like, why are you so mad? you know, but if you could, if
Yes.
you, if you were to bring it into objective reality, I don't think I slept that good last night. Okay, so I'm accepting that I didn't sleep good last night. Well, what are some things I can do to help myself feel better? Because I can't I can't go back and sleep better. That's over. So maybe I
Hmm.
go for a walk. Maybe, maybe I need to drink some water. Maybe I'm dehydrated. Maybe I'm hungry. Maybe I need a hug. All of these things. But once you know and you bring into the physical realm what your issue is or what it is that you need to accept, it's easier to find solutions.
Mm.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that made perfect sense, brother. Yes, definitely. It did, definitely. Now, even if someone wants to start the journey of just um, acceptance, the pathway to peace, um, what do you advise? Because it's always going to be a time where you're motivated, you're feeling good, like okay, I'm on this journey, and then like there's a downhill. Like man, I was on a journey, but now I'm feeling like what I'm gonna do now, and I'm just not into it anymore. Like, what advice do you have for anyone who is having a hard time in their journey of acceptance?
Hmm. We live in a state of duality, so there is no up without down, there is no left without right, there is no black without white. And the best advice I can give is that when you're up, know that it's going down. May not go all the way down, but nobody stays on top forever. Well, the inverse of that works even better for us. So when you're down, you got to go up. Natural law says anything that's down, metaphorically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
will go up. So I think it's important to know what your end game is, regardless of what that is. I mean, it could be something as simple as, trying to get a job or seeking out, to be married, have a relationship, to have kids, um, anything. Whenever you don't have what it is that you want or you're experiencing a lull, just know that if you stay on the path mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, natural law says you have to go up. Now, of course, there are situations to where your outcomes may not manifest themselves the way you specifically want to.
Mm-hmm.
However, the experiences that you can still have can still be there. So, for example, if you had a couple that wanted to have kids and for whatever reason they couldn't, if they continue to manifest themselves, raising kids, the universe, God, whatever we're calling it, it's going to continue to present you with opportunities to interact with children. And you have to
Mm-hmm.
be able to understand that just because it's not manifesting itself the way I envision it doesn't mean that it isn't manifesting itself.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we shouldn't get attached to the how it comes into being. That's somebody else's job, right? All
Yes.
I can do is take the step that's in front of me right now and trust that at the other end of this thing, that light is the divine light and not a train that's coming to run me over.
Yes. I love that. Thank you so much. I got the message just to keep going, even when you want to give up, even when times are bad. Just keep going. So I love that, brother. So I just want to thank you again for joining me today in discussing this amazing topic, acceptance, the pathway to peace. I would also like to give a special thank you to my amazing audience in Healing Tribe for joining us today. I pray today's episode was informative and valuable to you all. Also, be sure to give us a feedback, share, and subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes and on your favorite podcast stations and on my YouTube channel, Heal with Angelica Waters Podcast, to help get the message out to those in need of healing. Also, if you or anyone you know is suffering from anxiety and depression, please join me in my 12-week group coaching program where I work hands on with you to combat your anxiety and depression and so much more. I also guarantee life changing results. Marcello, thank you so much for joining me. Before we end today's show, do you have any closing remarks for our audience today?
I appreciate you having me. I think acceptance is, like you said, the pathway to peace. And know that if life isn't where you want it to be in the present moment, manifest it through your mind and your heart and your soul, and you're on that path. So y'all stay up, stay good, be blessed, accept it.
Yes, accept it, accept it. I also will have information in my link so you guys can connect with my brother. He is amazing. Connect with him on Instagram, Facebook. He also has some amazing teas like he got right now. Got the Inspire shirt with the mug.
Oh yeah, I
I
got my
love
mug. You know
it.
what I'm saying? I got some pink joints too for y'all.
Yes, yes, yes. So stay inspired. So, again, family, I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. And we leave you guys as we came. Peace and blessings.